Do I look ready?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Is it on?
Yeah.
How do I know there's not a red light?
Oh, sorry. So I can sneak up on people and film them, and they don't know.
Yeah, she turned it off so she could pretend that it's not filming. Is the red light on? No, I'm just trying to find something.
Oh, that's not creepy at all.
That
She's
is
like
awesome.
zoomed in on her boobs.
What are you filming on that thing? That is awesome.
Welcome to the Ashlee After Show. It's edition 363. I'm joined by comedian Carlos Mencia, who's come on our show multiple times, never in studio while I've been on the show over the past 5 years. But, I mean, we haven't even talked to you in 5 years. But there was a period of time where we would have Joe Rogan on and Carlos Mencia on, Joe Rogan on and Carlos Mencia on, and the rivalry between these two was insane. And then we didn't talk to Carlos for like 5 years. And then now here he is in studio.
Yeah, but you know what was funny?
It's really nice to have you.
I wouldn't come on and talk smack about anybody. It's people that have had a problem.
You've
with
always
me.
always said that.
Yeah, me personally. Listen,
Joe
I'm lucky
Rogan's
to
a
be
little
here.
different. Joe Rogan's
I
a
don't
little
even
different.
care. Whatever. For me, it's like, first of all, when you become successful or in any way, you just get, things change. It's like if you were to become the program director for this station or the general manager, you would see how you're going to lose all your friends.
Really?
Yeah, they'll stop inviting you to hang out. You know how you partied this weekend with her?
That means they're not really your
Wouldn't happen.
friends. That means they're not really your friends, right?
No, it's just because you are now not a part of the crew. You are now the boss. So they'll say stuff like, "Hey man, I'm going to be in late. Can you punch my time card for me?" And you're like, "No, I'm your boss. I cannot put your time card for you."
So
and they'll be like, "Oh, that
you?
changes."
So that happened to you
That happens to everybody.
when you kind of...
Mind of Mencia, basically. But that happens to everybody.
Mind of Mencia.
Would people be talking smack about the president if he wasn't the president? Probably not. He wouldn't care. If he was just, some legislator, it wouldn't be that much of a big deal.
So do you think Joe was jealous?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
I don't know the reasons.
Do you ever
what
talk
other
to
people
Joe
do.
Rogan or no? Probably, obviously not.
No, man, we used to be friends, but...
Yeah. So that's just kind of in the past. It's just kind of in the past. Well, I was like, when he first walked in, I'm like, something looks different about Carlos. Something looks different about Carlos.
He looks like he has AIDS. Is that what it is?
And then I realized that you've just lost an immense amount of weight.
Yeah, about 65 pounds.
So yeah, you have really made a transition in your life here, it sounds like.
Yeah, man, I just,
That's pretty cool.
Well, instead of, like, getting angry or doing any of that stuff and taking, all my success and my luck for granted, I just kind of took the time to say, you know what? Take stock in your life, man, and don't worry about negative or positive. Just exist and just be at one with who you are and who do you want to be. And I just realized, like, hey, man, you know what? I want to be more active. I want to, go play soccer. I want to have fun with my friends, and I don't want to be a fat
Soccer is so
ass.
fun. Soccer is so fun.
It is
I just
fun.
joined an indoor league.
Oh yeah?
A co-ed indoor league.
Oh, co-ed's awesome, man. Oh, we get to tackle chicks. It's the best ever. Embarrassing when we get tackled by a chick, which happens a lot, but no, it's awesome. It's great, man.
Yeah.
It's a good exercise, but yeah, for me, it's just been about being healthy and realizing I'm 40 now, so I gotta get ready basically for the next half of my life.
So in terms of this, is just for me personally, I've always thought about writing stand-up comedy. I've always thought the biggest challenge would be running out of things to write. I feel like you're in an interesting situation because people have accused you of copying, stealing jokes or whatever.
Right.
Does it put more pressure on you in terms of creating new material? Like, do you have to Google to see if anyone's made that joke before?
No.
Or, how do you kind of go through that in terms of writing new material? Yeah.
I just write.
Yeah.
I don't worry about that stuff. Look, at this point in time, if there's a young comedian out there and you're thinking whatever you're thinking, there isn't a topic that a young comedian can talk about that has not been covered.
Right. So technically it's not really like you're copying them.
Or if don't rip off other people's material, but if you write something and that's yours. Like, I'll give you an example. Bill Cosby has a very legendary bit about him going to the dentist.
Right.
But if there's some young comic out there that has some unbelievable experience going to the dentist, they should be able to tell their version of this is what happened when I went to the dentist.
Right.
That's your life. That's your experience. You should talk about it.
And that's different from Dane Cook, because I heard it. Dane Cook blatantly ripping off Louis C.K.'s names, like, you know, naming your kid weird names. I one time remember we played the clips back to back, or I might have just done it by myself. But I mean, it was verbatim, you know?
Right.
Like, so that's different, right? So that's the deal.
But, see, the problem is that you're, and I'm not defending, that's not it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, because I don't think you should, I mean, I'm not cool with people ripping off other people's jokes.
Because I think that you, of all people, should know about
Yes.
this, because I feel like you've just been accused by Joe
Right.
Rogan and others for doing it,
Right.
and you, of all people, especially moving forward with the transition you've gone through, I think you really probably know the best way to do it and handle the situation and everything, you know?
Yeah, but see, the thing about it is okay, all comics think alike. We all write jokes. So if you put 20 comics in a room and had them watch the news, about 80% of the time they would all write the same jokes. Because comedy it's kind of like a math formula. Mm-hmm. So we know how to do that. So giving your kid a weird name is a premise from a really long time ago. I mean,
is that what you think happened with Dane
way
Cook?
back in the day.
Is that what you think happened with Dane Cook? You think he just happened to have the same thought that Louis C.K. did? Really? Really?
I believe that. Here's what I believe.
Wow!
Let me tell you what I believe.
Okay.
I
I'm about to
believe
judge
that
you.
any comedian who has proven that they can write hours and hours of material after 3, 4, 5 albums, 4, 5, 6 specials.
Dane Cook has done.
And you think about that and you put it in perspective and say, yeah, I know he wrote all that, but he had to steal that one joke. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, if there's some young guy who doesn't have material and the only funny stuff he has is that one joke, then I get it. But I don't see, because those premises are easy to come by. What are you going to name your kid? You know, as a comedian, the first thing you do as a comedian is this: when you're about to have a kid, you go, okay, every single name that I can think of, let me make fun of it. Mm-hmm. That's what we do. So, John, oh, it's gonna be John this, John that. Oh, Larry, oh no, they're gonna call you this. Oh, Harry, oh, you can't go Harry. You know, we think of every possible way. So, coming to the conclusion that you want to name your kid something that nobody can make fun of, or that is so stupid that you can't even mess with it. That wouldn't be that's not a premise that's so way out there that it doesn't come into play with a lot of other ideology.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that. I just don't. That's just the way I look at it.
Yeah, that kind of just blew my mind. I'm a little bit tripped out by that.
No.
That's interesting.
But think about it
That's
this way.
interesting.
We're on the West Coast time.
Because I still don't know if I'd be okay with it or if I would do it. I don't know.
You're a producer, right? Mm-hmm. You're in the West Coast time. When a big story breaks and you guys make fun of it, I guarantee you that at least 100 other DJs across America on the East Coast time, Central time, and Mountain time have done that joke before you guys get on the air. Doesn't mean, what does that mean? Nothing. It just means that they had the opportunity to tell it before you.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that. But to be clear, there are people, there are comedians that do it, and that's not cool.
But not Dane Cook and not you. To be clear.
I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not. I'm saying,
because I want to really put it out there. That if you're saying you've never done it, and that Joe Rogan, he's full of crap, and he obviously is like jealous, and he's making stuff up, and that you've never done it, and you never would.
I'm not saying that.
And Dane Cook didn't do it either. And
well, first of all, every single comic. All right, let's get this out of the way. Mm-hmm. When they're young, is doing somebody else's act. Mm-hmm. And that every young comedian.
That makes sense to me.
There is not a comedian on the planet that when we started we're not doing.
And I get that. I get that.
Oh man, I love Red Fox, so they're doing Red Fox, or they're doing Eddie Murphy, or they're Eddie Murphy did Richard Pryor did so and so. It's just what but it's what everybody does. It's what little kids are doing right now. When they're on the playground and they have a basketball and they're going, I want to be LeBron James. I want to be Kobe Bryant. Inevitably, they become themselves. But in the beginning, Every comic is like that. That's why we have what are called stock hack jokes. Airplane food, being on an airline, going through TSA, Middle Eastern people at the airport. These are all just, Mexicans having a lot of families.
So,
all this stuff is very commonplace.
Yeah.
Mexicans making fun of the fact that Taco Bell's not real Mexican food.
Yeah.
All that stuff is really
So to be
just out
clear,
there.
you agree with me then that you didn't do it and Dane Cook didn't do it and Joe Rogan's jealous mother effer. Is that kind of a deal?
You know what?
That's
I don't worry about that.
Yeah. But see,
I really.
But I worry about it. I worry about it, Carlos, because you know what? I've met you personally today. I think that you are really a nice guy. I think that you have. You're hilarious. You were very funny in the interview. You should podcast it. He's going to be at Humphreys at the Bay. If you're old and retired, go there and see him because it's a great. My mom loves that spot. She was there.
It's a great place, man.
She was there over the weekend.
I didn't realize
she's
the
old
first
and retired.
time.
That's why I said that.
I didn't realize the first time that they're both out there.
She's obsessed with Humphreys.
Oh, really?
She's obsessed with Humphreys.
Wow.
But yeah, I really, for me, anyone out there that's watching right now that has this that thinks Joe Rogan's right and that you did purposefully steal jokes. I want to clear the air. That's all. I wanted to clear the air.
You know what? You
But I
can't,
think-
honestly, in all seriousness, you cannot take that stuff personally.
Yeah.
You just cannot. We're in
I
the
think
limelight.
I think we got somewhere.
We're in the spotlight.
Yeah.
People do, people say, they do, they talk, they don't know
You
me.
gotta just kind of let it go.
People don't. But that's not my job either to go out there and say.
Your job is to go to Humphreys at the Bay.
Yeah.
Your job is to go to Humphreys at the Bay.
And make people laugh.
And make
that's
people
what I
laugh.
do.
And that's what you do, and
Yeah,
that's it. I
man.
love it. Thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
You are really a
I
pleasure.
appreciate
It was
it.
really great to finally meet you.
Thank you,
He's
man.
a cool
Fun.
dude. Make sure to go see him at Humphreys this weekend. Have a good one.